Hey everyone, my name is Sean, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you my Mekk-Knight deck profile. This is going to be a little bit different from how I've been doing videos. I've been trying to normally do a long tutorial, but today I'm going to keep it nice and short, and that's because our duel for this video is actually very long, so you're going to be able to see what these cards do in action. Now, there is a couple of things, so I'm going to just go over very quickly. I'm just going to talk about what cards we have and why they're here in terms of groups. So let's get to it and get to the gameplay as fast as we can. So first of all, we do have a couple of hand traps. I've talked about hand traps in almost every single video. The ones I'm playing in this one are 3 copies of Nibiru, 2 copies of Ash, and 2 Draw and Luck Bird. The reason why we're playing these hand traps is because Mekk-Knight is mostly a going second deck. And so you want your opponent to put cards on the field, but you don't want them to put too many cards on the field that you don't stand a chance to make a comeback. And so I chose these ones there for that purpose. So we're going to put those back in, and those are our hand traps. For our main Mekk-Knight monsters, we have 3 copies of Purple Nightfall, 2 copies of Indigo Eclipse, 1 Red Moon, 1 Yellow Star, and 2 Blue Sky. These are your main monsters for your deck. You will see what they all do and what their effects are in action. So I'm not actually going to go over them right now, but those are the 9 cards we play. Now, because all your Mekk-Knight monsters are basically 3 special summons, we have some normal summons in our deck, and we have 5 normal summons in the form of 3 copies of Nightmare Corruptor Ibli, 1 copy of Mekk-Knight Avram, and 1 copy of Phantom Sky Blaster. I'll explain Ibli just very briefly, because I don't think she's in the gameplay, and that is, Ibli, Mekk-Knights want you to make columns in this deck. And so in order to help you make your columns, Ibli can be summoned to your opponent's side of the field when you use her as a link material, which helps you make your columns a little bit easier. Again, you'll see this and understand this more in action. I just wanted to cover that very quickly. Sky Blaster, on the other hand, gives you 3 tokens. It helps you get your link summons out a lot quicker because you get 3 tokens to use as materials for your link summons. And then for our other monsters here, we have Kaijus. Because we're playing a go second strategy, we do need forms of removal, and Kaijus are some of the best ways of doing that, and they also help you make your columns by summoning monsters to your opponent's side of the field in order to, and you can put them where you want them to make your columns a little bit easier. For our spells and traps, we have 2 Cosmic Cyclone to remove spells and traps, Instant Fusion to summon Thousand Eyes Restrict, Mind Control to take cards from the opponent's board, Monster Reborn, Reasoning, and then we have our World Legacy cards here. World Legacy Key, World Legacy Whispers, and World Legacy Secret are all cards which, when they're face up in the field, negate a card, a certain type of card that's in the same column as a Mekk-Knight monster. World Legacy Key negates trap cards in the same column as a Mekk-Knight monster. World Legacy Whispers negates spell cards in the same column as a Mekk-Knight monster. And World Legacy Secret negates monster effects in the same column as a Mekk-Knight monster. They also have other effects. World Legacy Key allows you to add a banished Mekk-Knight monster from your banished pile to your hand. World Legacy Whispers can give one of your monsters an 1000 attack boost. And World Legacy Secret can negate can summon a level 5 or lower monster, a higher monster, sorry, from your graveyard to the field. And the last two World Legacy cards here are summoning cards. We have 3 World Legacy Memory and 1 World Legacy Succession. World Legacy Succession allows you to do Monster Reborn style effect, where you can summon a monster to a zone a link monster points to. And World Legacy Memory lets you special summon a Mekk-Knight monster in defense position from your deck, and is just an amazing starter for this deck. For your extra deck here, we have cards here just to help you link climb quite a bit. Thousand Eyes Restrict, Dingersu because you're playing quite a few level 8s, Link Spider, Link Karibo, Salamangreat Almirage, Nightmare Phoenix, 2 copies of Mekk-Knight Morning Star, 1 Black Luster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos, 1 Crusadia Equimax, 1 Nightmare Unicorn, 1 Spectrum Supreme, 1 Borolo Dragon, 1 Borosaur Dragon, and 1 Crusadia Avramax. So I've tried to keep this short as possible. Let's get into the gameplay here, and I'll show you what Mekk-Knights do in action. Alright, so let's get into some gameplay here, and I'm going to try and show you what Mekk-Knights can do in action. Now, Mekk-Knights, as I said in the deck profile, are primarily a going second deck strategy. We want the gameplay for Mekk-Knights is to summon a bunch of monsters in a single turn and then attack and do damage to our opponent and just kind of overwhelm them. This opening hand isn't too great. We do have hand traps, so we are going to be able to interact with our opponent. But we haven't really got access to our main Mekk-Knight monsters just yet, so this hand is a little bit on the weak side, but we'll do our best to make it work. And so our opponent here is going first, and he normal summons Gozuki, and Gozuki is going to send a zombie monster from their deck to the graveyard, and we don't want that to happen, so we're going to activate Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. I've been seeing a lot of zombie players recently. Zombies are a very annoying deck to deal with. They all basically revolve around having zombie world on the field, which is actually a big flaw, but at the same time, if they kind of get away with it, they can also be very annoying to deal with, especially because their boss monster has a really amazing effect. Shaka Zulu activates 1 for 1. He discards Mizuki to the graveyard to summon out Glow Up Bloom. Glow Up Bloom has an ability where if this card is in the graveyard or sent to the graveyard, you can banish it and then add 1 level 5 or higher zombie monster from your deck to your hand. And that is the way they really get into their big boss monster. So I was a little bit surprised he didn't go for maybe a Link Summon here to get that effect off, but I think maybe he's not too worried about activating it straight away, he's just trying to buy some time. And so we're going to have to almost kind of play in kind, and we're just going to have to try and dig through our deck to get some better cards out. So what we're going to do here is we're going to normal summon Mekk-Knight Avram. Check this out! He is the main kind of normal monster for our deck, and I feel like I don't know 100% what the story is here, but either he becomes all the other Mekk-Knight monsters, like a Sentai hero where he just transforms into them, or he definitely becomes Blue Sky because they all share the same design, they have the same attack, and they have the same swords. So I'm not 100% sure of the whole Mekk-Knight lore, but there is a really cool amount of lore to go with all these cards. And so the next card we have is Mekk-Knight of the Morning Star. Mekk-Knight of the Morning Star, when it is Link summoned to the field, allows us to discard 1 Mekk-Knight or 1 World Legacy card from our hand to the graveyard to search out another one out from our deck. So we're going to get rid of World Legacy Key. Because we're playing against zombies, I don't think we're going to need Trap Negation too much. We think we're going to be relying more on spells and monster effects more, so I'm going to keep our copy of World Legacy Whispers, and we're going to use World Legacy Mekk-Knight of the Morning Star's effect to search out World Legacy Memory. Now, World Legacy Memory is easily, in my opinion, one of the best starters in the game. It's a lot like Emergency Teleport, if you remember what that card does, where World Legacy Memory is a quick play spell card that just simply says you can special summon a Mekk-Knight monster from your hand or deck in defense position. Yeah, it's just a free summon, and so this gives us access to our best searcher, Purple Nightfall, almost immediately. We just summon this out from the deck. Now he does come out in defense, which may seem like a downside, but Purple Nightfall also has a great effect, where we can banish one of our Mekk-Knights from our field and then add a different Mekk-Knight from our deck to our hand. And so now we're going to be able to dig even deeper into our deck and get our copy of Blue Sky. And this is why Mekk-Knights are so much fun to play with. They're high level monsters that summon themselves out very easily, but also have very good effects as well. When I first saw Mekk-Knights, I thought, this deck, all these monsters are just Cyber Dragon on crack. And yeah, Cyber Dragons are still playable, you can still play Cyber Dragons, they're not dead, but Mekk-Knights just feel like they just inherited that idea of just being big monsters that summon themselves to the field quite easily. So we used Blue Sky's effect. Because there are 2 cards in this column, but one of them belongs to my opponent, we got to add 1 copy of Indigo Eclipse from our deck to our hand. And now we're going to go into our Link 3 monster, Spectrum Supreme. Now I don't want necessarily Glow Up Bloom to go to the graveyard, or at least I don't want to be the one to force it to go to the graveyard. So we're going to use Spectrum Supreme to kind of get around that effect. One thing I didn't mention earlier is when you do use World Legacy Memory, you are locked into Mekk-Knights for the rest of the turn. However, that's only for the rest of the turn. You can summon non-Mekk-Knight monsters before it, and then use World Legacy Memory, so it's actually really not much of a downside. Now, because Spectrum Supreme is in a column all on its own, he can attack our opponent directly, which is really cool. 3,000 direct damage is nothing to be sneezed at. And also, because his arrows from his Link monster are pointing to no monsters in the main monster zone, he also has protection from being destroyed or targeted by card effects. So he can be a really annoying card to kind of get off the field. So Spectrum Supreme is going to put your opponent on the back pedal, and we managed to really fix this kind of what I felt was a really poor hand, and then she really tried to change it over and actually become put us in a lot better situation. Spectrum Supreme on the field with Mekk-Knight Indigo Eclipse, and our opponent is now going into their turn, and they have used Mizuki's effect to summon Kazuki from the graveyard. Kazuki is now going to send a zombie monster to the graveyard, and they send a copy of Necroworld Banshee. Necroworld Banshee is going to be their way in order to go and access their field spell card, and he's going to banish his Banshee from the graveyard in order to activate or add to his hand Zombie World from his deck. Now, with this card on the field, he has just made it so that all of my monsters and all my monsters in my graveyard are now zombie monsters. And this is going to be really annoying to deal with, particularly because he's going to activate this card next, Super Polymerization. And he's going to be able to fusion away my 2 monsters in order to make a monster that requires 2 zombies to summon itself out to the field. And yeah, that's really unfortunate. If this was Super Polymerization, I could have actually been able to negate this spell and trap card because we have World Legacy Whispers on face down in the field. And what I could have done is I could have activated World Legacy Whispers and chained Indigo Eclipse to move one of my Mekk-Knight cards into the same column as this spell, and it would have been negated. But because Super Polymerization says neither player can chain to this card, I can't respond to it. So my opponent summons out I forgot what this card is called. Zombie New Necroworld something. I don't remember what this card is called. All I remember about this fusion monster is, despite it being a monster that takes 2 zombie monsters to summon to the field, it's a bloody dragon, because of course it is. Every boss monster in this game is a stupid dragon. And yeah, Konami. Dragon Necro Never Soul Dragon, which is a dragon monster that takes 2 zombie monsters. How does that make sense? I don't know. But he now has summoned out Doom King Balderoach by banishing Glow Up Bowl from his graveyard, and this is really bad. He is gonna Shaka Zulu is putting me on the back pedal and has reduced me down to 500 life points, and he now has Balderoach on the field. And to be honest, when Balderoach is on the field in a situation like this, is really bad, because Balderoach has an effect where it activates its effect anytime a zombie monster activates their effect. And that is, his ability is that he can either choose to negate a card or effect, or he can choose to banish any card on the field whenever a zombie monster is activated. Now, because zombie world's on the field, that includes my monsters too. And so, I have to find a way to get around this board without triggering his effect, so he can just banish my cards for free. It doesn't even target, it just banishes and says, yeah, you lose this card. And yeah, Balderoach can be really annoying to deal with. The other thing with Balderoach as well is Balderoach says it can summon itself back to the field from the graveyard if there is a face-up field spell card. And if you see my deck profiles, I play a lot of decks with a lot of field spell cards quite often. And so he can often turn that to be against me, which is actually really annoying to do. Just checking my phone. Okay, I've got a parcel coming. Okay, cool. So, what we're going to do here is I've actually managed to work out a way to get over Balderoach so we can get rid of him for the time being. So we're going to attack with our Mekk-Knight card, and then we're going to activate World Legacy Whispers. Now, this is going to give one of my level 5 or higher monsters an 1000 attack boost, taking it to 3500, so we are strong enough to attack over Doom King Balderoach. And now, we are free to carry on attacking and using our monster effects without fear of them being banished. But this doesn't solve the situation that we're in. As long as Zombie World's on the field, that monster's going to keep on coming back, and it's going to be a problem for us. So I have to find a way to kind of deal with that. We've done a nice bit of damage to our opponent. Shaka Zulu is now down to 3500, but the other threat that I have to worry about is any monster that's 500 attack more than any of my monsters is going to end the game for him. So I've also got to be really careful there. And at this point, I'm really just trying to think, what can I do? What is there that I can actually do to make sure I just don't die this turn? Another bad thing is I'm going to lose the 1000 attack boost at the end of this turn, so it doesn't stay forever. So what I've done here is I've activated Purple Nightfall's effect. You banish it from the field and get to add another Mekk-Knight card from your deck to your hand. And now we're going to go and add Mekk-Knight Indigo Eclipse. Now, Purple Nightfall does come back during my next standby phase, so it's going to be a reusable form, or a reusable resource But so I want it just to come back a little bit later on, so it can't be attacked over and can do more searching for me later on. And now we're going to use our 2 level 8s to exceed summon into Dingetsu, the Orcus of the Evening Star. Now, Orcus is by far my favourite archetype in the game, but also Dingetsu is just a ridiculously powerful monster, because he has the effect that when this card is link summoned, I can choose to send any card on the field to the graveyard. Doesn't target, doesn't discriminate, doesn't care what it is. I can just pick any card as long as my opponent doesn't negate it and just send it to the graveyard. So we now get rid of Zombie World. Phew! That is going to allow us to kind of stave off Battle Rush for a while. And the only thing I have to worry about right now is that Dragon Necro Neversoul can do 400 damage to me, but as long as he doesn't do 500 damage, we're okay. So he sets one monster and he's going to go to battle phase, and now he's going to attack into Dingetsu. Now Dingetsu, very fortunately, also has the effect where it can protect any of my cards from being destroyed by detaching a material from it. So we are going to be able to do that. But Dragon that's not going to matter in this case, because Dragon Necro Soul, Neversoul, Dragon, whatever it is called, is going to also has the effect where any monster that this card attacks cannot be destroyed by a battle, but it does turn their attack to 0. So that's bad. So yeah, we don't want Dingetsu to sit and attack. It's my standby phase again, and so Purple Nightfall is going to come back to the field, and that's really good because we got that resource again. And now we're going to special summon out another copy of Blue Sky, and I'm just having a look at my extra deck to see what we can actually use. So we summon Blue Sky to the field, and Blue Sky again is going to let me add monsters, Mekk-Knight monsters from my deck to my hand, equal to the number of my opponent's cards in this column. So he has Glow Up Bloom in this column, so we get one monster to search out. And so we're going to search out our final copy of Purple Nightfall so that he can do more searching a little bit later on. Now, we need to think of a way to kind of seal the deal here. We have quite a few monsters. I haven't got enough columns, so I can't actually special summon, but I can do a link summon. And so I need a monster here which is going to be able to kind of turn the tide of battle and almost swing this back in my favor here. And so the thing with the Mekk-Knight monsters is that although they're very powerful, they're just not, sometimes just not powerful enough to get the job done. And so we need to rely on our link monsters just to help us out a little bit here. And I think we're gonna go for this card here. Let's go for Blackluster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos. Or maybe we're not. Maybe we're gonna change our mind. I don't know. We'll see what we're doing. I seem to be very indecisive. So I don't know, what we're going to do here is first we're going to activate Purple Nightfall's effect. We're not going to banish Purple Nightfall. Instead, I'm going to banish my Mekk-Knight Blue Sky. That will come back later on in my standby phase. And now, instead, we're going to special summon Mekk-Knight Red Moon. Mekk-Knight Red Moon and also Mekk-Knight Red Yellow Star are very similar, where Mekk-Knight Red Moon can banish a card from my graveyard to destroy a card in the column that he's currently in. But I don't want to send Glow Up Bloom to the graveyard because that will get him a level 5 monster, so we are trying to avoid doing that. I just want to banish him to summon, to use him as a material in order to summon out our Blackluster Soldier. And so we're going to send Dingetsu and our 2 high level monsters to the graveyard and summon Blackluster Soldier. And because we've used a level 7 or higher monster, Blackluster Soldier is going to get its protection ability, and that means that the opponent cannot target it with card effects or destroy it by card effects. The only way they're going to get rid of this card is by tributing it, sending it without targeting it, and also they can destroy it by battle. But that's not going to be very easy for them to do. Now we summon out Purple Nightfall just so we can also clear this board a bit, and Blackluster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos, is going to attack my opponent's face down card, and we're going to see what that is. It's going to get flipped up, and it's another copy of Glow Up Bloom. How unfortunate. So he's going to get a level 5 or higher monster regardless, because now that's going to go to the graveyard. But now Blackluster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos is going to activate, and we're going to use this effect to either give him 1,500 attack, or to give him 2 attacks in the next turn, or banish 1 card on the field. We're going to banish 1 card on the field. I think that's the safest thing to do. And the question is just which card are we going to banish? Do we get rid of Necrosoul, or do we get rid of Glow Up Bloom? Hard to say. Hard to say. Necrosoul is strong, and we don't want it to attack into our monster and do enough damage, and he only has a 100 damage left to do. But Glow Up Bloom gets him more monsters, which is annoying. So Yeah, it's hard to say. I'm going to go for Necrosoul. At least we can attack into this glow up bloom here. And, or we could just leave it on the field, actually. And then just pass and not do anything. So we pass here and we go over to our opponent's turn. So he just searched out Jacobolin, which is also a newer card for zombies that came out in the recent set. What set did it come out in? It wasn't Eternity Code. It was earlier this year. Why have I forgot the name of the set? Oh my god. But it was in January. This card came out. And yeah, it's a really cool card. Jacobolin has the effect where you can discard one zombie card from your hand to the graveyard to special summon this card. And then during your opponent's main phase, you can target one zombie monster in either player's graveyard and summon it to the field. Now, if Zombie 1 was on the field, he can summon cards from my graveyard back. But really, he can use this to summon back his own monsters. And while it doesn't look too strong, it does banish itself until the end phase. So it gets harder to attack and actually get rid of this monster, because it continuously just banishes itself and then during your turn, and then then dodges your opponent's effects, while it also summons another one to your field. So Shakasulu summons Jacobolin, and if he wanted to, I think he could probably make a link summon, because not a link summon, a synchro summon, well, also a link summon, because Zombie Glow Up Bloom is a tuner. So that's a level 7 and a level 1 on the board, and he's actually going to do that. He's going to synchro summon into Frame Lord Omega. Now, if anybody's an old school player, you may remember that once upon a time, Frame Lord Omega was an honorary zombie monster, because Frame Lord Omega has the ability to manipulate your banish pile and send cards back to your graveyard. And that works really well with cards like Mizuki, which can summon cards from your graveyard. And zombies used to play the Frame Omega loop, where they used to be able to just play 3 copies of Omega and constantly just get cards back from your banish pile and send them back to your graveyard, so you can constantly keep on summoning more monsters. It was a bit nutty, and it ended up with Omega getting actually limited to 1. I think he's been unlimited since then, I can't remember, but he's still a very powerful card. And so he's going to attack for game over Purple Nightfall, but Purple Nightfall is going to dodge. So we're going to banish Purple Nightfall, get him off the field, and if my opponent has a way to negate this will be bad, but he doesn't. He summons Vampire Fraulein. Vampire Fraulein is also a really annoying card to deal with, and we'll talk about what she does in just a second. But first, Purple Nightfall will resolve, and we get our final card, Yellow Star, from our deck to our hand. Vampire Fraulein is like a hand trap for zombie monsters, but what she says is if any one of your zombie monsters battle, you can pay life points in multiples of 100 to reduce that card's attack, or it's either reduce that card's attack or increase your monster's attack by that. It's oh, I was just trying to read it there, but I've gone past it. I'm pretty sure it's to reduce your monster's attack, and so he can play any amount of life points if I attack any one of his zombie monsters, and then make me do damage to myself, which is going to really suck. So as long as Vampire Fraulein's on the board, basically I can't attack, because I'm going to just lose this game. Purple Nightfall effect is going to resolve, and fortunately we're going to get back Mekk-Knight Morningstar and Purple Nightfall, and hopefully you, through this video guys, you start to see the power of Mekk-Knights. As well as being big monsters that you can just summon to the field quite easily, they are also very hard to get rid of because of Purple Nightfall's effect to just be able to dodge and come back to the field. Now, my opponent has used Frame Lord Omega's effect to return a card from the banish pile to the graveyard, and so we're going to destroy it using Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, which wasn't in my deck profile. I did change this to Draw Lotbird, but you can have Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit if you want to. I just changed it because I was trying out different things between duels, but feel free to change that if you want to. And now here comes back Zombie World, which is really unfortunate because he had Necro World Banshee in his graveyard. And with Necro World Banshee in his graveyard and Zombie World on the field and a field spell on the field, here comes Doom King Balderoach, and that really sucks to deal with. But we have the answer for this. We can deal with this part, and we're going to summon over Vampire Fraulein using Gamma Seal. And I love any deck that can main deck Kaijus. Kaijus are the best form of removal, but not every deck can play them. And just being able to tribute over it and not deal with it is always really great here. And so, this is going to provide us with a way to kind of do some attack and do some damage without activating effects, triggering Doom King Battle Roach's effect. So let's go into battle phase here, and we're going to first use Blackluster Soldier to attack into Gamma Seal and do the most damage we can. So that's going to do 800 damage, and then he is going to be able to activate his effect, and we are going to use this effect to banish one card on the field. Now, because it's the damage step, Doom King Battle Roach won't be able to activate, and I have to decide, am I going to go for Zombie World or am I going to go for Battle Roach? This was actually hard to decide, but I decided to get rid of Battle Roach just in case he had another Vampire Fraulein, and now the board is completely wide open and we can just attack for game. And so guys, hopefully you've enjoyed this game. I really enjoyed this game. I thought this was a really good demonstration of how Mekk-Knights work. But most importantly, do let me know, what did you think about the structure of this video? I'm always open to feedback. Do you prefer videos where the deck profile is short and the gameplay is longer, or maybe vice versa? Would you prefer a more in-depth deck profile where I really go through each of the cards and then made this maybe a 40-minute video? Whatever feedback you guys have, I'm always open to and willing to appreciate to listen to. Thank you guys for watching as always. I'll see you soon. Take care.